This is a fabulous conference. I think it's one of our favorites. It's a celebration of entrepreneurship, which is such an important driver of our economy. So it's great to be with entrepreneurs at various stages in various industries, get them all together and discuss the journey of entrepreneurship. Now, as it relates to our advice to them, I think one thing I've seen a real sentiment shift in the past year or two is, the IPO is aspirational again in Silicon Valley and around in growth companies. And so I think people are excited by the opportunities in the public markets. Obviously, valuations have been extremely attractive for issuers. Market's been consistently open. So I think that's a real theme, which is people are more intrigued by the IPO path than they have been in recent years.
One IPO that's got a lot of, or potential IPO that's got a lot of news at the moment is that of Uber. And your other role is CIO of the investment banking division.
Correct, yeah.
As part of that role, you look at companies for Goldman Sachs itself to invest in early on, and Uber was one of those picks. Nice call, by the way.
Thank you.
On that front. So what do you think about the timing? Is now the right time for Uber to go public?
Well, I should resist the temptation to talk about any specific company or client. I would say, obviously Uber's a remarkable success. It's one of a class of companies in Silicon Valley and technology that's exerting enormous influence on the world around it. I think the new management team has really done some tremendous things. And so they have lots of opportunity ahead of them, and it's a great company.
What do you think about the timing more broadly, whether we don't focus necessarily on Uber, but LYFT going public as well next year, Airbnb, Palantir? There's a lot of big companies of not just 1 or 2 billion market cap, but well above that, close to 100 billion. Is there going to be enough liquidity out there to get all of those away next year?
Absolutely. First of all, it's as I said, there's a remarkable class of companies out there that I think are in many ways poised to access public markets. But at the same time, we've been waiting for a lot of these companies to go public for a while. So we'll see how their plans develop. That having been said, I think there's enormous excitement around these kind of transformational companies. There's a lot of capital on the sidelines to buy growth. I think that's one of the lessons over the past few years in the capital markets. I mean, you look at these top 5 companies in technology, their performance, their fundamental performance, the remaining growth they have at scale. So I think the prospects for these very special companies to succeed in the capital markets in coming years are very high.
If they do all come in 2019, would that likely be the peak in a sort of 3-year view of IPO issuance in the tech space?
Yeah, well, I mean, a little bit of data here. We've had, I think, 38 technology IPOs this year. That surpasses the number we had last year already. Now, it's well below the peak. I think there were 150 in the year 2000. So, and the most recent peak was 49 in the year 2014. And so, again, I think 19 will be a very, very active year. Whether it represents a peak or not, I'm not smart enough to know. But great companies, exciting pipeline, and investors who remain intrigued with the opportunity to buy growth, generate alpha through outperformance. Switching
to media, Reed Hastings in his earnings release for Netflix said that of the new Fox model, that it's the right model for traditional broadcast television. What do you make of that? Do you think traditional media companies can only now focus on news and sports?
Look, it remains to be seen. I'm no expert in the media space. But I think there's going to be, this is one of those areas where the fusion of technology and traditional approaches to this industry are still playing out, and I think there are a lot of models that can be successful there.
And George, final question, given the interview we've got coming up with your new CEO. You're essentially a Goldman Sachs lifer, been here for
25 years.
25 years. Yeah. So the change of the guard, as it were, with Lloyd stepping down and David taking the reins, is that the most seminal moment in your time at Goldman Sachs? And what do you think David brings that Lloyd didn't have?
Well, there have been a lot of big moments over 25 years. The IPO itself, various crises, et cetera. I think it's an important moment. It's one where it causes us all to pause and be grateful to Lloyd for his extraordinary leadership, and yet be, I think, very excited about David, who's a fantastic manager and a great person. And his leadership and his era, I think, will be equally exciting, and we're all just looking forward.